we as human beings do not realize how powerful we are.
Welcome to Crossing Thresholds Religion, Resilience, and Migration, a special mini-series of Walk, Talk, Listen, produced with the Joint Learning Initiative on Faith and Local Communities, and based on new research with Christian Aid. In this series, we highlight personal stories and lived wisdom from people navigating climate impacts, faith, culture, and movement. We invite you to join us.
My name is Maurice Bloem, and I would like to welcome you to yet another episode of Walk, Talk, Listen.
Okay, good day, everybody. This is another episode of the podcast Walk, Talk, Listen. It's a special episode. As we know, we are looking into a report that we had made together with Christian Aid. And I'm delighted with today's guest who will introduce herself. Nidia, please go ahead.
Hi, good morning. Nidia Bustillos Rodríguez, a Bolivian person, let's say. I am born in Cochabamba, Bolivia. It's a Quechua place, and I consider myself as Quechua. But my parents came from the lowlands from Bolivia in La Paz. They had to migrate, seeking better conditions for work. I am talking about 70 years ago. They had to migrate, and that is why that I am born here in the Quechua place. And then what can I say?
Yeah, how was your upbringing? Are you the only child, or do you have siblings? And is it a more rural place or urban?
Yeah, no, Cochabamba is. I am born in a village nearby Cochabamba. It was a rural place, more or less, but now, yeah, it is a city. It's I am born in a city. I do not belong anymore to the rural places, let's say, because of the migration of my parents. And you had some questions about the migration. And I think that, yeah, the example of migration is me. Yeah, what happens when somebody has to leave its original place to seek another life?
The report reminds us that migration is not only movement, it's memory, identity, and belonging in motion. In Nadia's story, migration begins long before climate change, with her parents leaving the rainforest and a child growing up between mountains and cornfields. What research calls intangible loss. Her life gives a human face.
And did you grow up alone, or did you have siblings?
Uh, no, I have I have I had two brothers. I only have one now, and I lived in a village, and I grew up with children from the countryside. Because we lived outside the city in the small village, let's say, and in that place we didn't have a school yet because it was new, and the school was created in one of the houses, and there were also children who lived in the countryside nearby, only 2-3 kilometers from the village. And I grew up in that place, between the, let's say, the fields of corn, between the mountains with rocks, with a small lake.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And when your parents moved, it was only the move of your family, or did other family members also join? You know, brothers and sisters of your dad or your mom.
Yeah, my mother didn't have, I don't have any other family from my mother's side, because my mother lost her mother when she was 14. And she did it, my mother and her one brother and sister didn't know who was his father.
Okay.
Because there was a big, I think that my grandma had a big conflict with the father of my mother, and she didn't tell them about who was the father.
Okay.
You can see the story, what happens, and she had only one brother and one sister, and my grandmother died when my mother was 13, more or less, and she got alone. She only grew. She went with my aunt, let's say, but my aunt had an accident with a horse, and she died. Yeah, and my mother was alone. She was 14. She was 15 when she got married to my father, and my father. You can see a girl of 15 married with somebody who was also, yeah, who was 10 years older than she was. Okay, they just left the village, and they went to seek a job in another place.
The JLI Christian Aid report shows that migration is rarely driven by one cause alone. It emerges from overlapping economic, environmental, and personal pressures. Nidia's family history reflects this complexity.
And did they find work in the other place?
Yeah, yeah. They found work in a mine,
Yeah.
because in that place in La Paz, you have in La Paz you have the high plateau, you have the cloudy region, let's say, we call Yungas. It is in between the cloudy rainforest, and then you have the Amazons, and they came from the cloudy rainforest, where you have a lot of coffee, because they had farms with coffee, coca leaves, um, the sugar plants, but Bolivia is well known also because in Bolivia you have a lot of gold, silver, and other minerals, and you have a lot of mines around these places, these villages. So many people from the villages, what they do, they go and work in the mines.
Are they part of a bigger firm, or they are searching for themselves?
They are searching for themselves.
Okay.
At that time, what I know is that they had they were families in the village who had small farms. But you had the small farms, you have a school, but you don't have the university, you don't have the, how to call the high school. You only have the school. And they had to travel the whole day to get La Paz was La Paz was the main city,
Uh-huh.
and they had to travel, yeah, almost one day by truck because the roads are so dangerous. Still, still no, the roads are dangerous. You know the dead road, the dead road.
Mhm.
It is called the dead road.
Yeah. Because
That
it's
is
so
the road
dangerous that
that goes
people.
to the, yeah.
Okay.
That is the road that goes to the villages where my parents grew up.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, Bolivia is huge, and we are only few. We are few people now. We are 10 million, almost 11 million, in a huge country. And you can imagine 80 years ago how it was.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And so, Nidia, if you think back about your upbringing, you were explaining to me, you went to a school in a house. Um, yeah, how was it then to grow up? What were you doing? And what happened that ultimately, you ended up in the work that you are now,
Yeah.
if you look back?
Yeah, it is really interesting. I always say to everybody,
Mhm.
I have discovered that, let's say, that when you are a child, you know already what you want to be in life.
Mhm.
You know, and you feel it. But the problem is that when you grow up, you forget because of the school, the high school, the university, the life. I do not know. You forget who you are. But when you uh, uh, remember, you remind what you wanted to be when you were a child, you know what you're going to do in life. But many times we get lost. When I was child, I was 9 years ago, and I wanted to be how to call. I wanted to study parapsychology.
Mhm.
I wanted to be magician. I wanted to be archaeologist. I wanted to be astronaut
Mhm.
because I wanted to fly to the stars.
Mm.
That was my biggest dream. It is still my big dream because I knew that I came from another world. I
Mm.
knew that I came from Antares, from one place in the heaven.
The evidence review finds that faith shapes how people interpret migration and loss. Nidia's cosmological language reflects this pattern of meaning making.
And that I was thinking all the time. That was my. uh, I used to play with the other children, of course, but many times I was laying down in the garden, looking at the stars, thinking about life, thinking how we can go to the stars, how we came from there to here to this planet. That was my life.
The evidence shows that people do not face displacement with facts alone, they face it with meaning. Nidia does not speak of doctrine, but of stars, intuition, and knowing who she is. Where research speaks of spiritual framing, her story shows how belief becomes a language for survival.
Mm.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
doing that. And I think that I knew at that time that I wanted to be what I am trying to be now. Yeah, and yeah, I was 9 years old, and And here in Latin America and in Bolivia at that time, you had some schools that were teaching throughout the post.
Mm-hmm.
And I have read in one let's say newspaper and advertise about how you can be parapsychologist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I said I want to do that, and I registered with my name.
Okay. How old
Eh,
were you then?
I was 9.
Oh, when you were 9 years old. Wow.
Yeah, and I decided to do that.
Okay.
And I sent via the post also, the post office.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then in my family, they had a box, how to call the post box?
Mm-hmm. Mailbox. Yeah.
Yeah, a mailbox. And they got a lot of
Letters.
letters and yeah, advertising about
Uh-huh.
the course. And they say, yeah, cool, send in this material. We don't want to do anything about magical issues. And I was just
Kept silent.
silent. Yeah, silent. And I couldn't do anything because I didn't have money. I was
Mm-hmm.
a
Sure.
child. And what I did there is only read all the advertising, all the all the material that we got. And I was dreaming, how can I be a magician?
Mm.
But then I forgot. I forgot, and then after many years, when I came back, okay, life happened. I studied. I migrated to the Netherlands.
Now, why did you migrate to the Netherlands?
Oh, and if I didn't do that, I would be a person who would not be anymore in this planet.
Mm.
Somebody wanted to kill me.
Ah.
Yeah, I got a bad relationship with somebody who was
Mm.
very aggressive to
Mm.
me, and that is why that I understood what is violence
Mm.
against women.
The report tells us that migration carries wounds policies cannot see: loss of safety, loss of home, loss of self. Nidia's journey holds all three, and yet her story turns pain into care. What the research calls resilience, her life reveals as transformation.
Ah.
And I have learned many many things about life, and that is why that now I am here healing also other people to avoid that situation because of ignorance.
The JLI Christian Aid report shows that migration is rarely driven by one cause alone. It emerges from overlapping economic, environmental, and personal pressures. Nadia's family history reflects this complexity.
And so after how many years having been in the Netherlands, you came back to Bolivia. So it's
Yeah,
safe now?
I came back after 30 years of living there and
Wow.
studying there. Yeah, and I came back to Bolivia because I had to prepare my my thesis to get my bachelor and my master degree.
In which
I
subject?
have studied information management in archives. I couldn't study what I wanted to to do because yeah, sometimes it is easier to to study another thing and not what you want to do. But anyway, My researches have to do always with cultural issues, with ethnographics.
Still with always about Bolivia and about your
Always about
situation. Yeah.
no, always about indigenous peoples,
Okay.
indigenous
Okay.
healing.
Yeah.
That is my my way.
Okay. Can I ask you, because you were telling me that you had siblings? Are they in a similar direction in their lives? Are they also involved with issues around indigenous people and um, intercultural work, those type of issues, or not?
No,
Hmm.
no, no. I am the only person who
Okay.
decided to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I wanted to know about my roots. That
Okay.
was so important for me
Mm-hmm.
to understand where is the place where I came from, to understand what happened, to understand about the planet. I wanted to know always about life.
Mm-hmm.
What's life? But
Okay.
not life only as the the churches tell you. Because I was very religious. Yeah, we were
Oh,
very
you were. Okay.
as children. We grew up as Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was very Catholic. My father was not Catholic, but yeah, he was a leader from a left party.
Mm-hmm.
And but I was very religious because I thought there should be something bigger than this life. All the time I was seeking all the time more and more.
But the way you talk about it, it seems that changed now, that you are not religious anymore. Or you
Um,
still are.
I think that I am religious, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
deeply, but I don't belong to any church. I I have seen that we don't need any church to be connected with the creation.
And when did that realization happen? Was that in the Netherlands or before already?
I think that it was before.
Okay.
I think that all the time I was playing as I was playing to be student. I was playing to be somebody, but I didn't know uh, who I really was. And now, let's say 10 years ago, I just uh, got some ideas about who we really are. Yeah, I was seeking, but now I can say maybe I know something because when I was practicing um, an issue that we do with energy, practicing with energy, giving energy and getting energy from your hand, using your hand. It's not Reiki, it is another um, practice. And I got a message because when I was meditating, providing energy, I said, finally, please tell us, where do you come from? And I got a thought,
Mm-hmm.
but it was fast and funny. It was a thought, not with my voice. It was a voice of in between a male and a female voice. It was a neutral voice, and it said, "Ah, do you want to know where do you come from?" And I was meditating, like talking with you, and I said, yes, I want to know. And the voice said, you know, you come from a black hole. I said, hey, how is it possible? Because all the time we are talking about light, that we are seeking light and we want to avoid the darkness. And you are telling me that we are coming from the dark, from the from the deepest dark, from the black hole. And then the voice stopped. And then I said, why people didn't tell us where do we come from? Why religious people who know maybe where do we come from don't tell us that. And then I said, I don't want to follow up any religion anymore.
And where were you? Were you in Bolivia or in the
No, I am
Netherlands?
in Bolivia. I live in Bolivia. I live in Cochabamba again.
Okay. For how many years now?
15 years.
Okay. And when did this experience that you just described, when did that
When I
happen? How
came
many years
here,
ago? When you came
uh,
back?
10 years ago,
Okay.
10
Okay.
years ago, that happened. And I came here because I was doing research, field research in Bolivia, in a place that is known as the Sajama Mountain. The Sajama Mountain is the highest mountain of Bolivia. And within the indigenous cosmovision, it is considered the Sajama is the biggest protector of Bolivia because it is the highest mountain of Bolivia and is located in the frontier between Chile and Bolivia. It is very high, and many healers went all the time to that place to ask permission for healing, to ask for support, also for doing evil things, because in the conception of the Andean ancestral conception, you have the both sides. You have the bad side and the good side. But one mountain has the power, and the power can be used for bad things or good things.
Yes.
We don't divide. Everything is holistic. And when I knew that mountain, I knew that I had to come back to Bolivia, and that is why that I came here again
Okay.
to my
Understood.
place.
Yeah.
And I
So,
knew that.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, please.
Yeah. So what I'm wondering is, so you came to Bolivia because of your bachelor degree, because of your research, right?
Yeah.
You got this revelation. Did you then stop your study and focused on healing, or you still continue to do both?
I do both.
Okay.
I do both because I need money to live.
Mhm.
And what I'm doing now is healing for free. I do it as gratitude
Yeah.
for the lessons that I have learned, and I am learning from many other people. Because when you learn how to heal, it is not one person who teaches you everything. It happens that you meet people. Somebody comes to you, and this person teaches you a lesson, let's say,
Mhm.
experience that this person has, and you learn, and you teach what you have. You interchange. Okay, you go. Then you meet another person, and this person teaches you another lesson. And that is the oral tradition. You don't go to the university to learn about life. And that is why it is so precious, because then I understood, um, maybe we have many changes in life with this Western view of life, bias vision, let's say. But we have still people who are practicing the old wisdom.
So it's interesting, something that you realized when you were 9 years old, you've now picked up again and you're doing. You know, I don't know if this is correct, kind of um, capturing it through the words of indigenous knowledge, traditional medicine. You're doing that now outside of the other work. Um, so may I ask you a question? In your experience, how does what you do, you know, and you provide it for free to your community, how does that contribute to community resilience in the face of climate change, especially when land, water, and you know uh,
Yeah,
additional plants are under threat?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The situation in Bolivia, it is really interesting what you're talking, because we have in Bolivia two situations, not only Bolivia, in the whole world. Let's say you have the rural part and you have the the the, the cities, the big cities. And what is happening is that we have a lot of migration, where you have a lot of indigenous peoples also living in cities. The rural places are empty, almost empty. Um, okay, if I have to talk about climate change, I cannot talk about the earth as a resource, because what I have learned is that the earth is not a resource, and we are not going to save the earth. You know, we are very arrogant thinking that we are going to save the earth. Just ask the Pachamama, Mother Earth, to save us. Because we as human beings are destroyers. We are just guests in this place, guests who are destroying the house. We are destroying the animals, the plants, and everything. And how do we pretend to save the earth? I think that we can say, let's pretend to save us. And and then you change the conception, earth is not a resource. We have principles of reciprocity. We have principles of complementarity. And that is why when we think about reciprocity, what is reciprocity? It is taking something but giving also something. And when you think, okay, how can we change, uh, how can we contribute something with this climate change issue? It is, I think, becoming one with the Pachamama, Mother Earth, and talking about health, and talking about health in the indigenous communities. And Cosmovision is talking about life. Health is not divided from other activities. Health is everything. It is what you think, what you eat, what you do, and then you are not prepared. And I think that the biggest contribution of indigenous peoples in Andean cosmovision is, as other also indigenous cosmovisions in the world, is the idea that health, life is everything. We don't divide. If you divide, you are just how to call, telling lies to yourself. Because life is not divided. Also, even the death is not divided from life. We talk with our dead ones. People who passed away are part of us. This is just how to call, a cloth. This body is only cloth. Life goes on. That is why when you think that life has to do with the mountain is a protector, and you can say, "Oh yeah, but this only rock." Why are you talking to? You are just ignorant because you're talking to a rock. You are talking to the water. You're talking to the plants, and it is because we are thinking that we are more than a plant. We are thinking that we are more than a mountain. We are just part of the life. And if we harmonize life, we are going to harmonize also this stupid situation that now is happening. And we said, oh sorry, before we said that many problems that we have, we create with our thoughts.
Bond. Can you explain that more?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Uh, you can talk. You talk, but it is more important what you think, because the thoughts have power. And if you realize that you as human being are between the levels, we have levels. We have the level of the heaven, where you have the stars, the planets, and all the gods of the heaven, and you have this level where we are. That is the present. But you have also the underground. That is the past. But the underground is also a place where you have many, let's say, gods and powers, and you have also the seeds, where you have the origin. As human being, we are in a place that is marvelous, because you are in between. You are the bridge between worlds. You are the bridge between the past and the future. And let's say the past exists only in our mind, the future also. We are here in the present, in this place, the Kai Pacha, this level. And if what I have learned from this cosmovision is, we as human beings do not realize how powerful we are. How powerful we are, that we can decide what is going to happen. And we can decide if we are going to be a bridge between worlds. And that is why I would say, if you have a big storm, it is not because only the storm is coming because of the climate issues. It comes also because you are thinking on war, you are thinking in bad things, in evil things. Maybe we are talking now very gently, but maybe I am thinking, oh yeah, I want to do something bad against this person on the other person. I am joking about you, and I am not respecting you in my mind. But in this vision, nothing is divided. Then you cannot hide. Maybe you think that you're hiding your thoughts, but your thoughts are energy. And that is why it is so important.
And Nidia, do you have to remind your own people about this as well?
my own people.
Yeah. I mean, what I mean, you are in Bolivia now. You're part of the indigenous, you know,
Parts, but of course, we talk sometimes with some brothers and sisters,
Mhm.
and we talk about that. We talk
Mhm.
about this and what we are doing. And I have discovered by myself at that time, and that you know, many times we want to change a huge quantity of people, let's say a crowd. Uh, uh, but I have seen that we don't need to change a crowd. We need to change only ourselves. And if we change ourselves, we are changing a crowd of ancestors, a crowd of people who are coming after us. We are a crowd. We are carrying with us thousands of ancestors who need to be healed. And who I am to think that I can change you. Who I am. The only thing that I can do is share with my example, with my life, and maybe somebody can be inspired with what I do. I can talk with other people. We talk, we reflect about this, and we say, okay, let's change. Don't use, we don't want to use, a friend of mine said, no, I don't want to use any a pesticide anymore. I don't want to use this. I don't want to use that. And and I know that I have to think with more love about life. And I don't want to. I am not going to destroy myself anymore. And that is why that I say, um, I cannot change. If I cannot change my life, how can I pretend to change other lives?
Thanks for that, Nidia. Nidia, I mean, you're explaining to me that, um, also the work that you started as a result of your education, you're still doing that. You do both, right?
Yeah.
So how do you navigate the space between, you know, the indigenous knowledge systems
Mhm.
and then your global research, development works, policy issues? And where do you see tensions and where do you see opportunity?
Oh yeah. You know, all most of the time I think that I know nothing. I know nothing. Sometimes I have decided not to talk anymore. Really, and sometimes I think I want to go to one mountain and forget everything and just go and live these places because I realize that life is more easier. That we as human beings are complicating everything. It is only living life. And what I see is that there is a confrontation about, material issues because the politics are very based on materialistic issues, cars, houses, money, of course, money, and in wars. And we are, we have the disorder. There is a disbalance, and that is why we are as we are now in life. If we were humble and if we accepted who we are as human beings in this planet, we shouldn't act like this. We should be grateful every day for all the time that we have for this life, because we are just like insects. You think that you have maybe 80 years or 50 years, but that is 50 years for this planet.
When you think about the future of indigenous knowledge, women's leadership, traditional medicine, um, what gives you still hope?
Ah, yeah. Hope is an illusion, but what I think is that what I have learned is that health and everything goes about life. Human beings want to be happy, want to enjoy life. Everybody wants to enjoy life. But if we try to understand what is life, then we are going to realize that what I said, that we are only guests, and we are going to understand why these let's say these leaves that are in your screen from the trees, and why the water is coming, and you realize that you are coming from water, and that the water understands and has conscience, and that every element that is in your body makes you who you are, then I think that we are going to be happy, because and we need to be. What I have learned also from this vision is that we need to be responsible, and being responsible is being responsible for life, and first for your life, and for life that is in your body. We are also the universe for many microorganisms who are living and depending on us, and we depend on them. And let's say in the planet you have microorganisms who are the owners of the planet. And that is why that we get sometimes sick, because we don't understand this balance.
Maybe I can piggyback further on what you just said by putting a question in front of you um, that's being asked by the previous guest of this special series. And the person is asking you,
How do we heal people, peace, and planet?
so she said, we are hurting. Can you imagine 132 wars and counting in the world today, 200 million people displaced? We live in a world of fear mongering. We live in a world where we are othering each other. We are living in a world where we are not inclusive, but excluding people. So, how do we heal in such time when the world is hurting? Is her question to you.
Oh, yeah. What I said, taking the responsibility for your life. When you are going to say, okay, I feel bad because of somebody is doing something to me, and I am doing something to other people. But when you get the responsibility for your life, you can choose for killing or healing. You can choose what you eat. You can choose what you do with the beings around you. I am not talking about human beings. I am talking about beings in general, because I think that when we don't recognize that life has to do not only with human beings, but with all beings that are here. When you realize that, you are going to start the process of healing. You're not going to kill the other because the other is one expression of you, yourself. You are my possibility of being a man. And you are, when you realize that we all are so interconnected, that we depend one each other, you're not going to be so stupid to kill the resource, let's say, that you have to live. But I think that something happens still in our mind as human beings that we are not realizing that we have power. And that is why that we are killing one each other.
Thank
And
you.
we are not healing also. We are not healing. We are not healing the planet, but let's ask the planet to heal us.
Yeah, I would like to connect you with the next guest. And so may I ask you to come up with a question for the next guest?
Yeah, I would like to. I would like to ask the next person to tell me, please, what is life?
Nidia, what keeps you walking your path? Especially when the work that you're trying to do feels maybe invisible or undervalued by others. And I heard you say you have to focus on yourself, but is what keeps you walking your path?
I think that maybe I have tried to understand that we come from a black hole, that the universe is bigger than we think, that we are almost nothing in the universe, but we are also important for the universe. Otherwise, we shouldn't be here. And if I am here, it is because I can do something for the place where I am. I can do something I can contribute with my love to this beautiful planet, because it is a beautiful planet. You can create the hell, you can create the heaven. It is your choice. And okay, if somebody says, okay, what you're doing is nothing, it is just stupid, it doesn't contribute to the humanity, I can say, okay, that is your idea, that is your idea. But if I teach what I have learned, maybe somebody can listen to me. And if only one person can listen to me, I am going to be happy, because this person is going to change, maybe the same way as I did when somebody taught me. And that is why I keep doing this work, because I know that there are people who become and realize that they can be happy.
If I ask you, if your path, if your journey had a soundtrack, a song, a chant, a sound of nature, a rhythm from home, what would it be, and why?
Yeah. For me, it can be the song of birds, the song of birds, because they sing in a beautiful way. The water from the spring, the wind, but also the pulse of the heart. Boom, 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 boom. I think that that is the also the rhythm of the universe. But I do not know if you have a, a song with that.
No, no.
But I think that the nature sings,
Mhm.
the nature prepares the symphony. Yeah.
And Nidia, do you have any children?
No, I don't
You
have
don't.
children.
Okay.
I have decided not to have children since I was child because
Yeah.
I said if I want to be a magician,
Mm.
I am not going to have time for having children. That is a big duty, and I think that my children are going to be the people who are going to be around me.
Um, in terms of what you have learned and what you're doing, are you um, teaching the younger generation about this as well? To make the next healer, to make the next uh, person, magician, as you call it.
Healer.
Yeah.
Let's try to be a healer. Yeah, if somebody comes to me and yeah, there are some girls, especially girls, and there are some yeah girls who say, "Please, do you want to teach me this and this?" And I say, "Of course, I am going to teach you, but only I am going to teach you only the things that I have tested, the things that I know that work." And I am doing, yeah, I am doing, and that is why that I have decided to heal by free, for free. And other people said you are doing wrong because if you ask money, they are going to value your work. And if we are giving for free, they are not going to value your work. And I said, okay, that is my decision. I think that this knowledge doesn't belong to me. And why I am going to ask money for something that doesn't belong to me?
If we would ask the listeners to take one simple but meaningful act of solidarity
Oh, yeah.
towards indigenous women, traditional knowledge, or the earth, what would you invite them to do?
What I, there are many things, you know. One thing is to breathe. And when you breathe, to think that you're breathing the air that didn't change from the beginning of the planet, of the creation. And then you're going to be connected with Jesus Christ, with indigenous peoples, with our ancestors, with the trees, also with other people who, let's say, destroyed the planet, other brothers who were just aggressive. I don't want to mention the names. But when you breathe and you think in that, in 2-3 seconds, that you are connected with everybody. And when you exhale, you are also giving life to other beings. I think that this is the gift of indigenous knowledge that tells you that we are connected, that we depend one each other. And I think that this is the biggest lesson that our ancestors gave to us.
Nidia, these conversations always go fast. Um, I do want to ask you, because before we started recording, you know, you you spoke Dutch to me. That's my mother tongue. It's not yours, but it's a language that you have learned. We had to speak to English in order to understand each other.
I thought it was in Spanish. Sorry for my
I don't speak Spanish.
Mm.
My listeners are also used to hearing English. Um, I still want to like to ask you because I think language, your the ability to express yourself in your own language is important. Are there things that we talked about that you would like to, you know, say in Spanish because maybe it's it's um it's more powerful, or in your, in the any language, or are you good?
No, I think that English also is, there's the problem. I think that, you know, life is more simple than you think.
Uh huh.
Yeah. And
Okay.
the big issue that we have in this life,
Uh-huh.
live, just live. And try not to hurt too much. Yes, I think that please don't forget that we are guests in this planet.
Mm. Okay. Then I would
Mm.
like to thank you for the conversation today, for everything you do, for who you are. Um, Still, is there any question that I did not ask you today that I should have asked you?
No, I think that, yeah, maybe when we
Mm-hmm.
talk about the ancestral vision,
Yeah.
okay, I could talk about the cosmovision, about the how we see the past, the present, the future, the how to call the pachat, all the whole universe. But I think that yeah, this has to do more with philosophy. But I think that the ancestral indigenous um, knowledge is still alive, will never die. Why? Because we are the ancestors too. Please don't forget that we are indigenous. We all are indigenous. Okay, we are in the planet. You are white, you are black, you are red, you are green, but we are human beings. We are a family. We are relatives. And that is why that even if you want to destroy this knowledge, nothing will happen because we have the same roots. Mm.
Thank you so much for today, Nidia, and all the
Thank,
best. All the best.
thank you, and sorry for maybe sorry for my English and
No, 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 no. There's nothing wrong with your English. You were very clear. Thank you so much.
ja, dankjewel voor alles.
Alsjeblieft.
Thank you for listening to this episode of our special series, Crossing Thresholds, Religion, Resilience, and Migration, produced by JLI together with Walk Talk Listen. This conversation is part of our effort to bring new research to life through real stories, stories that show how faith communities, Indigenous knowledge, and local leadership respond to climate impacts long before the world pays attention. If you'd like to learn more about the research behind this series, you can find the full report and additional resources on JLI's website, jliflc.com, and Christian Aid's website, christianaid.org.uk. You can also listen to more episodes at walktalklisten.podbean.com or on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you again for joining us, and we hope you'll continue walking, talking, and listening with us in the episodes to come.
Thank you for listening to Walk, Talk, Listen. Please check us out on 100mile.org or follow us on Facebook or Instagram.